Merry me, Annie here, and I'm doing a video on this week's Pagan challenge topic, which is about the moon and moon phases. The exact topic is in the subject of this video, because sitting here, I don't have it in front of me, I don't remember what it is. Moon phases. Yep, I'm a moon baby, and it matters deeply to me every day of the month. I'm always very aware of the phase of the moon that we're in. I've done a video sometime in the past on how I work with the phases of the moon, and I'll link it below. So I'm not going to go there again. But let's just suffice it to say that it felt right to me when I studied the phases of the moon for the first time and put myself in their rhythm. It felt right to me. It was me. It was the tide within me. Everything felt right about a rising and falling of energy in a month's time. So right from the beginning, I was at home within the lunar tides. My body and my emotions felt one with them. I use the moon for focus. It makes me stop and think during the month about different perspectives. It might be a time to take action, or the opposite, a time to reflect about taking action, or even, not even to reflect, but just to be. And no matter what time of the month a challenge comes up, if I look at it from the perspective of that particular moment in the month, it always gives me, not by coincidence, I'm sure, the perfect perspective, the perfect offering of possibilities on how to do a working, or how to relate to another one, or how to deal with a challenging situation, or how to decide what to do or not to do. Every day in the lunar calendar matters to me. I always know exactly what day it is. Always very aware of the moon, not just if I can see her in the sky, but that flow of the month that I go through. It's a fine balance to the fact that the sun means that much to me too. Through the wheel of the year experience, and also through the hours of the day. The rising and falling of the sun and the rising and the falling of the tides. They inform me in the sense that they encourage me to step outside of myself in a moment to experience something bigger, to experience something in a different way, to shift my perspective, and to encourage me to look at possibilities in a different way. There's nothing limiting about it. There's always an answer that lives within it. The combination of the two of them is indeed the energetic rhythm and balance, the yin and yang of who I am. Day to day, minute to minute, month to month, and then season to season. At times in my life, I have related more or less powerfully to the moon in relation to the feminine mystery. It used to be it was all about goddess and all of her many moon forms, the lunar goddesses, or the goddess, as she shifted and changes through the length of a month. And I sometimes wonder, and it's been interesting to explore, as my tides have become more and more subdued, as I've aged physically, and my hormone level has changed, I still relate to her in all of her aspects as the goddess. There's no doubt about that. But there's also a relationship to the moon, which has become a more purely energetic relationship outside of that. It hasn't shifted my relationship to her as goddess, but I've sensed within that the power of duality and polarity, even within the honoring of the lunar cycle. It's giving me new things to explore. New things within myself, that's for sure. It's been interesting to grow up with a lunar goddess. Certainly, when I was learning the lunar cycles, we talked about Maiden, Mother, and Crone and how she lived within the aspects of the moon. She's always now, to me, Grandmother Moon. Maiden, Mother, Crone, and all the other aspects of Goddess as well as God are very present to me in the turning of the seasons and the solar cycle. But it's Grandmother who has now become my relationship to the moon. Grandmother's wisdom. Grandmother in the sense that throughout the turning of the lunar month, my grandmother body is relating to a peer. When I look into the moon now, the face that I see in the moon is of someone who's lived a long life. She shows her battle scars, and yet she shines brightly. Grandmother Moon. I adore her. I live with her every night. I open myself up to her every night. And without fail, she blesses and she guides me. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Mary Part.